Tonight, you will probably eat something that comes in a box, maybe a bag, maybe a wrapper with a nutrition label printed in tiny font. You won't think about where it came from. You won't think about how strange that is. But for almost the entire span of human existence, nothing you ate came wrapped in anything at all. Your ancestors did not eat 3 meals a day. They did not eat bread. They did not eat rice, or potatoes, or corn, or oats, or any of the foods that now sit at the center of your plate. For roughly 200,000 years, before a single seed was ever deliberately planted in soil, humans ate something else entirely. Something stranger, something far more varied, far more dangerous, and far more intelligent than most people assume. So what did they actually eat? And why does the answer explain so much about your body today? Start with the myth. Popular culture loves the image of the caveman gnawing on a mammoth leg. Meat, meat, and more meat. It is a simple, dramatic picture. It is also mostly wrong. Anthropologist Catherine Milton spent years studying the diets of wild primates and comparing them to early human food strategies. Her research suggested that early humans were not meat-obsessed carnivores at all. They were opportunistic omnivores, eating whatever the season offered. Roots, tubers, nuts, insects, shellfish, wild greens, fruit when it was available, which in most environments was not often. Meat mattered, but it was not the daily staple. It was often the rare prize. Think about that for a moment. Your ancestors were problem solvers first, hunters second. Every single day was a puzzle. What is edible right now? What is toxic? What is hiding underground? What will make you sick? And what will keep you alive until tomorrow? This is where the real story gets interesting. Digging up a tuber does not sound impressive. It does not make for a dramatic cave painting, but it required something remarkable. It required memory. It required the ability to track which plants were safe across different seasons, different soils, different years. It required teaching that knowledge to children who would not have survived on instinct alone. Anthropologists increasingly argue that this kind of foraging intelligence, not spear throwing, is what shaped much of the early human brain. Here is where it gets stranger still. Around 800,000 years ago, something changed everything. Fire. Harvard biological anthropologist Richard Wrangham has spent much of his career arguing that cooking was not a convenience. It was a biological turning point. Raw food takes enormous energy to digest. Cooked food does not. When early humans began cooking their meals, their guts could shrink. Their brains could grow. Wrangham calls this the cooking hypothesis, and it suggests something almost uncomfortable to consider. Your intelligence may exist in part because your ancestors learned to set food on fire. Isn't it strange to think that a species became smarter, partly because it stopped chewing so much? But cooking alone does not explain the full picture. What were they actually cooking? What was actually on the ancient menu? This is where the evidence gets surprisingly specific. Researcher Amanda Henry examined dental plaque preserved on the teeth of Neanderthal skeletons. Fossilized plaque, thousands and thousands of years old, still holding microscopic clues. What she found were starch granules, grains from wild plants, date palms, legumes. Some of it showed signs of having been cooked before it was eaten. This was not the diet of a pure carnivore. This was the diet of a species already experimenting with plant preparation long before agriculture existed, which means the line between hunter-gatherer and farmer is far blurrier than most people imagine. Humans were managing plants, understanding seasons, and processing food chemically through fire long before the first domesticated wheat field ever existed. Now picture the actual rhythm of an ancient day. No breakfast at 8, no lunch at noon, no dinner at 6. Food access depended entirely on location, season, and luck. Some days brought abundance, a beached whale, a herd migration, a tree suddenly heavy with fruit. Other days brought almost nothing at all. This irregular rhythm is important because your body still remembers it. Modern humans crave calorie-dense food, sugar, fat, salt. This is not a personal failure of willpower. It is a leftover survival strategy. In an environment where food was unpredictable, Craving energy-dense resources when they were available kept your ancestors alive during the lean stretches that inevitably followed. Your brain rewards a slice of cake the same way it once rewarded a rare pocket of ripe fruit. The reward system has not updated. The environment around it has changed completely. This is also why so many modern diet plans, low carb, paleo, intermittent fasting, borrow ancient logic while missing ancient